There we are. Hello, sir.
There you go.
How are you? So you
Excellent.
had a busy, you
Well,
had a busy day. You said you were on a conference call earlier when we chatted.
yes, Joel, and we're not all into the wine business. We have other businesses
Oh,
also, but I'm also the
okay.
president of a chamber, a private
Uh
chamber
huh.
I represent over 420 companies. So
Oh
we
my
were in a
gosh.
board meeting of the chamber that's called Canacintra. So, with the
Wow.
quarantines and with which companies are essential, which are not, and just with meetings with government and all that stuff. So it's really, really busy.
Wow. But you're still. Are you working mostly from home?
Yes, everything from home. You
Yeah.
know what? It's tough right now because Valle, Guadalupe, where we have our winery and our vineyards, well, everything's closed. Everything's to go. So in that part, it's really tough. Because usually right now the BCC it's about to start, and now we're managing, handling, just making deliveries to people upon 2 bottles of wine. We deliver them to their addresses in all of the
Wow.
cities. Well, majorly in Tijuana, where I live, it's we are just like pizzas, just delivering wines to all of our friends and to
Uh huh.
we are really going big on social media,
Uh
promoting that
huh.
we can take the wines to the restaurants. So that's
Okay.
kind of big. It's going really, really well. We're also in touch a lot with our distributors in Mexico City, in
Uh huh.
Cancun, Guadalajara, and also in the United States. And where we sell in California. We have an importer in New York with Boss Selections, and in all those places, just being in touch with them to see how's everything going. Okay.
Great. I want to pause just for a second and kind of start over or hit a reset.
Yes.
So you tell us your name and your role in the winery and what the name of the winery is and a little bit about Bodegas Rubio.
Yes. Well, I'm okay. Well, I'm Francisco Rubio. I'm in charge of the boring part of traveling and doing wine tastings and traveling and all that stuff. The winery is called Bodegas F. Rubio, where the F stands for family. So Rubio is our last name. So it's a first generation project. It started off with just bought land just to have like the weekend house, but then it's the entire Valle Guadalupe started going with a big boom and so everybody started to make wine. And right now, as you can see, well, quarantine isn't going to stop us. Just drinking one of our new babies. You know what? There you go. That's
Okay.
one of our new babies. So I'm charged of distribution, so I get to travel a lot, thankfully. Where in the other cities where where we sell the wine, and we have everything is state grown and bottled with us. We have the firm philosophy that in order to control the final product, first you have to have you can control your grapes. Okay, so when we bought the property, it had nothing on it, so we just started to plant. The first that we planted was 5 acres of Cabernet Sauvignon, 1 acre of half an acre of Merlot, and half an acre of Malbec. Now we have grown our plantations. We have more of those. We have Palomino, that's the base of our white wine. There's only 3 wineries in the entire valley that produce white wine with Palomino.
Oh,
It's a blend of Palomino and Chenin Blanc, yes. And then we also planted Montepulciano, Sangiovese, Nebbiolo, and Chenin Blanc. So
and how
first we
big is the
started off
estate
with
now? How big is
right
the
now
estate now?
in hectares is we have two estates. The first one where we have the winery and the oldest vines. That's 8 acres. No, I mean that's in acres around like 20 acres. And the
Wow.
other one is just plantation. We have there's 12 hectares of
So
just
you guys
plantations.
in Mexico, you count hectares, right? We're the only weirdos that do
Yes,
acres
everything.
in America.
So 1 hectare is 2.5 acres.
1 hectare. Yeah, because I work with France a lot, so I think hectares also. But when you put it in acres, you're like, wow,
Uh-huh.
that's a lot. Um,
Uh-huh.
so what's the history of kind of like give me just an overview for many people that don't even know there's wine in Mexico. I think you guys are doing a tremendous job of spreading the word. But can you tell us the history of wine in Mexico and then the history of your estate? You did a little bit of your estate, but just
Well, you know what? Well, concerning Baja wines, well, right nowadays is like 85% of the entire production of Mexico is made in Baja California. So we're still production. It's really small production still. Most of the wine it's kept in the country. Still, production is small. We have a huge obstacle. This the lack of water.
mm-hmm.
So it's the big problem is that Ensenada doesn't have water. So the city took the water from Valle, Guadalupe, took it over there. So right now, productions have been going 2 years back with a really lack of rain, and so
Mm-hmm.
small productions. The last 2 years have been going really well. It had rained a lot, so that's something really cool for us. And that, but still, just the biggest winemaker. Cheto that produces around 2 million cases, 3 million cases, the big one, the biggest one. And then you go to the next one is around 150,000 cases.
Oh wow, that's
So
big.
still it's huge. Yeah, it's really big. And
Yeah.
then for us, for example, we're only producing right now 3,500 cases.
Uh-huh.
So we're really small. We plan to go out to around 5,000 cases, but that's about it because that's our philosophy in our winery. But Baja wines are low production in vineyard. That's something really good. So we are making high quality wines. We love to use the oak, new oak, a lot of new oak and second used oak in Baja. We have a really great Mediterranean weather, so it's perfect to plant our grapes. A lot of Nebbiolo and Cabernet Sauvignon are the biggest right now. They're going high demands in reds and whites, a lot of Chardonnay, so in Sauvignon Blanc. And Chenin Blanc, it's growing a lot. So right now, Baja wines are mostly sold in Mexico, a bit of to export to the United States. And so when you try, I mean, that's why we're still not very well known because in Europe, I don't know how many wines are in Europe. I mean, it should be like in really small places and just in really small winery. I mean, just a couple of wineries should be exporting to
Uh-huh.
Europe or other countries.
Oh, great.
But just Baja wine, yes, everything's here, and there's a lot of emerging people drinking Baja wines
Mm-hmm.
because since they're really small productions, and there's a lot of taxes in Mexican wine, so around 40%, over 40% in taxes, just for wine. So the
Wow.
idea of people that they didn't want to consume Mexican wines is because they said, you know what, why am I gonna buy a $30 bottle of wine of Baja wines, Mexican wines, when I can buy Spanish wines? They're the best in the
Yeah.
world at around $15 or $20. So
Yeah.
it's been a process for us. People now identify us, and Valle Guadalupe offers a lot of cool stuff to do. You could do wine tastings. There's over 130 wineries you can visit. Really cool places, really nice installations. The weather's really great. Baja California, we have like our own identity concerning food. It's called Baja Med. It's
Oh.
Mediterranean style food with local products, such a lot of suckling pig, quail, lamb, really good meats, spectacular seafoods, starting with tuna. Those are the ones that go to everywhere you're going to see in Japan or China or those big places where they're really expensive. So we have really cold water. So for us, it's just really crisp seafood. So just top notch, and they go really well with our wines.
I can attest to that. Um,
Yes, yes,
no
I know.
worries. Where are you? You're at home, right? You have a beautiful view there behind you.
Well, thank you. Well, this is about my parents-in-law's place. You know,
Okay.
with the quarantine, we decided to get a little bit off the city. You know, Tijuana right now is the most infected place in the entire
Oh,
country.
it is.
So it's really tough right now. So just a little bit on the outwards, you know,
Yeah, good for
just
you.
with my kids, with my
Yeah.
kids and with my wife, just getting it. But I mean, still a lot of home office, just with the cell phone all day long. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
So you're up nearer to Tijuana more than by Valle de Guadalupe?
Oh, well, now I'm here now in Valle de Bravo right now.
Oh, okay.
It's just an hour from Mexico City.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good for you. So can you
Yes,
tell me about
yes,
the,
yes,
so when I was out there, I think 2 summers ago, I was struck by how hot it gets, and not, I wasn't surprised by that, but I was surprised by how cool it gets at night. So can you talk about what that
yes.
does to the grapes and the soils, and how like a Cabernet in Baja is different from a Cabernet in Napa or in, say, Bordeaux?
Okay. Well, you know what? Here, like I said, we have that really nice Mediterranean weather. So
Mm-hmm.
it's chilled in the morning, really hot at day. Most of the during summer, we have a really consistent weather. I mean, it only rains in winter. It doesn't
Okay.
rain nothing in summer. So that we have really consistent weather for the grapes. You know, and it's mostly it's clay where we in El Porvenir where we are. It's mostly clay soil, and then this other part it's sandy. But it's mainly in entire Valle Guadalupe. It's more those two. So for us, what it makes, I mean, since it's clay, we're located in the hills of the mountain. So hold on, it's my daughter. Sorry,
It's okay. No
I went.
worries.
So sorry.
No
She's
worries.
so for us, for example, our Cabernet Sauvignon, although it's since it's clay, it's clay, so the root it's not so easy for it to find water, so it
Right.
struggles to go underneath, so that you get like that nice. It gets stressed just enough. I
Oh,
mean,
uh-huh.
all of our water process is through irrigation, so that in that way we our agronomist it just stresses the plant enough so it could be it has that nice character, but also
Cool.
you know we go really low. We only produce only 4 tons every 2.5 acres, so
Wow.
for us, I mean, we really get a lot of concentration of juices in our
Mm-hmm.
grapes. So that's why when at the end of the day, it has, the Cabernet Sauvignon usually has like a nice thick skin, so that it
Mm-hmm.
has nice tannins. But for us, it's really bold. It's really nice because it has a lot of fruitness, But it's like a bold fruitness that compensates really well with the tannins of the grapes. That's in our case. Usually a lot of people go around like 6 to 8 tons every 2.5 acres. But
Okay.
that's our philosophy. Just go really
Okay.
low because when you drink the wine, I mean, you just wanted to tell a story.
Yeah.
When you smell the wine, it has to tell you the story from that. And we like the wines to evolutionate a lot in your glass.
Uh-huh. Um, and there's unusual blends in Baja. I can't remember exactly what your
Yes.
blends are, but can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, for example, since we have no regulations here, we can do whatever we want. So many people just blend whatever they want or they think this is going to be a nice blend. But for us, for example, our white wine is a blend of Palomino and Chenin Blanc. Okay, and
Okay.
then so usually that's a Spanish grape with a French grape. I mean, it's like if you put like a French guy with an Italian guy, well, a Spanish guy with a French guy fighting over that. I mean, why? It's like a football team. And then we have a rosé that's a blend of Sangiovese, Montepulciano, and Nebbiolo. So it's
Okay.
something really unique because the red wine that I'm drinking right now, it's the same blend. So that part of the winery was designed to be a red, but since the vineyard wasn't ready enough to make it a red, we said, you know what the heck, let's make a rosé. So we made that rosé, and then it worked really nice. It's a dry rosé. It has a lot of notes of watermelon. It's not a really common note in a rosé. That's really cool. And then another one, the red, the red, the same blend. This one goes through 3 months a new oak and 9 months on secondhand oak. We have a 100% Malbec, 100% Montepulciano, 100%
Okay.
Sangiovese. We have two Bordeaux blends, one that goes through 13 months a new French oak, and a reserve that goes through 18 months a new French oak. And then other wineries are producing really exotic blends such as Tempranillo and Nebbiolo. That's something that you usually don't see, and it blends really well. So
Yeah.
that's the magic of Valle Guadalupe, that you're going to find blends that you're not going to find in any other
Yeah.
place in the world. Yeah.
It's really a magical place. It's one of the best trips I've ever taken. I have such fun memories and
Yes.
hope to get back soon. So when we started out, can you tell us again what life is? Because your hand is in many pies because you don't just do the winery.
Yes.
Can you tell us what life is like as a winemaker for, because they still are, the vines are growing. What's happening to the winery, and
Yes.
then just an overview of Mexico under the quarantine.
Well, in Valle Guadalupe, what we're doing, I mean, in the fields, but the guys, this small vineyard, I mean, just using what the recommendations of health authorities are making. So they're still working on the fields. We are
Okay.
in fields. It's assigned as a essential as an
Yep.
essential company. So in
Mm-hmm.
that part, we are still working. And in the winery, I mean, you have to keep working, because if you do not attend it, I mean, it's everything is going to get
Yeah.
rotten. Okay. So in that
Yep.
part, we're just really, really well, really using gloves, masks, sanitizers, gels, everything in order,
Mm-hmm.
because health is first. The health of our collaborators is the most important thing for us,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the people in the fields. And what I told you, then so we're working like that. We're shifting turns. Not so many
Okay.
people in the winery. The less people in there, the better.
Yeah.
Because you have to be, the recommendation is to be 1.5 meters apart one from another. So the less people, the better. So I mean, thankfully for them, they're following all the recommendations. So that's something really cool. And in Tijuana, what's happening in Mexico in general? Well, you know what? It's just, I think what you guys are happening in the U.S. Just a lot of
Yeah.
panic. Hopefully, people would just follow more the instructions of government in order to stay home. People are getting really, really creative here in order to try to keep an income, because
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen is usually it's going to be a really big recession.
Yeah.
We don't know how long this is going to be, how long this is going to last. Hopefully, the sooner this ends, the better. But
Yeah.
we just have to keep our hopes up in order for us to survive with our businesses. We're trying to do everything we can, because many companies are closing their businesses, and then in government wise, I mean, it's kind of tough also, a lot of here in Mexico with that. And hopefully with the other chambers, we're trying to figure out how we're going to reactivate the economy in order for those people or those companies that go broke, because a lot of companies are going to go broke, because
Yeah.
they're going to have to close around 60 days without selling $1. So that's going to be tough. So in that sense, we're just trying to be going forward from now, to be ready for when that's going to happen, when this pandemic finishes.
Yeah. And you said the winery, normally there's a restaurant and nightlife there, but you
Yeah.
said you're closed as a restaurant but still doing deliveries at the bodega.
Yes, I mean, everything. Maria Jose, espérame. I,
Don't
sorry.
worry.
In Valle Guadalupe, all of the wineries are closed right now. So Valle
Okay.
Guadalupe, there's no tourism right now. So the restaurant that we have, my brother is the chef. It's called Parcela 70, and everything's to go. Everything is
Okay.
to go. Government stated, if you want to keep the restaurant open, it has to be to go. So we're
Uh-huh.
selling empanadas, packages
Oh.
of wines that go really, really well with our wines. So we have the checkout we're doing. So check out our social media at
Okay.
Bodegas Rubio Parcela 70. So my brother's gonna design a dish. So it's gonna be in a package, whatever the dish is, with the wine of the week. So we're gonna be sending something like that. And
Awesome.
that's what in Tijuana, what we're doing is just delivery to your house or to your business. So that's what all of us are doing, just trying to survive.
Yeah, and I think at least staying open a little bit, hopefully it won't be as hard to go back to full service, hopefully. I'm going to
Exactly.
let you go. You have a lot going on. I really appreciate your time. This was very last minute, so you're very kind to stop and chat with us. I'm trying to stay optimistic, and I think seeing hardworking people like you to keep going is very optimistic. And then also show people some outside views, because a lot of my friends back in New York City are confined to their home. So thank you again. Do you want to say anything as a farewell? But I just want to say thank you. It's good to see you again. It's good to see you.
Oh well, we're hanging in there. This thing is gonna end, and at the end of the day, we're gonna be ready for more wine. And listen, this don't just to tell people that don't uh, don't be scared to open your good bottle of wine with just with crackers and cheese. Just try. We're all gonna just stay into it. Just be relaxed. Follow all the recommendations from health institutions, and we're gonna get through this.
You're the best. Thank you so much. Seeing people like you out there gives me a lot of hope. So I really appreciate your time. You take care,
Thank
Francisco,
you.
and thanks again.